glad you're back. I hope you had a good week. I know I did. Well, as you know, we've been reading books for the past month about a girl called Rosa and her family. The first one was A Chair for My Mother, right? And it went on to Something Special for Me, Music for Everyone, and then A Chair for Always was last week, right? And all four of those books are really about how do we show love to our family and our neighbors? What are the kind of things that we do, right? And the reason we were reading those books is that we've been thinking about those two most important things that Jesus said God would like us to do. And number one was, remember, love God with all your heart, all your soul, and all your mind. And number two was love your neighbor as yourself, right? And the Rosa books were about showing how do we love our neighbor? How do we love our family? Well, there's a second part of that sentence, though. It says, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, what if you don't love yourself? What if you don't even like yourself? How can you love other people then? What do you do then if you feel bad about yourself? It can be really hard then to love other people, right? So today's book is about a boy called Tyler who has a friend who makes him feel bad about himself just about every time they meet. And so this book is about what does Tyler do to figure out how to fix that problem, okay? You ready? Let's read. Better Than You, written by Trudy Ludwig and illustrated by Adam Gustafson. Trudy lives with her family in Portland, Oregon. Adam lives with his family in New Jersey. My neighbor Jake can be a real jerk, always letting me know that whatever I do, he can do better. Don't get me wrong, Jake is great at practically everything he does, especially sports. Me, not so much. I mean, I know I'm good at writing stories and playing the guitar, but when it comes to basketball, I have to practice a lot just to be a decent player. The jerky side of Jake first started to bug me when I was trying to learn how to do a layup. For weeks, I'd been working on leaping, aiming, and shooting like an NBA star. I even got my older brother Iggy's help. I was so excited when I could finally do it that I went over to Jake's house to show him. "Hey, Tyler, what's up?" said Jake. "Check this out. I can do a layup." After I showed him the move, he grabbed the basketball from me and said, "Yeah, well, I bet you can't do this." Then Jake did a perfect hook shot. He couldn't just say, "Cool, Tyler," or "Great job, you nailed it." Nope, he had to outdo me. Who am I kidding, I thought. I'll never be great at basketball. Why even bother trying? Late Tuesday morning, I was in the middle of showing Charisse my new music player when Jake came over. "What's that?" he asked. "It's a sound launch," replied Charisse. "Tyler just bought it." "You're kidding. A sound launch? You should have gotten a Tonnage 300, said Jake. Then he went on and on about all the great things his music player could do that mine couldn't. I just stood there, thinking of all the places I'd rather be than right there with Jake. Today, we had a math test. I hate math. It's my hardest subject. My hands get all sweaty and my brain turns to mush whenever I try to solve the problems. Do you know what was worse than taking that test? Having the teacher tell you that the kid to your right would be grading it. And since I sit next to Jake, he got to check my answers.
"Geez, Tyler, I can't believe you got some of these problems wrong," he said. "This test was so easy. I must be like 5 times smarter than you in math."
There should be a law that kids don't get to grade each other's tests. Stupid test. Stupid me. When I came home from school, I threw down my backpack, headed to my bedroom, and slammed the door. "Hey, Tyler," called Iggy from downstairs. "Uncle Kevin's here." When I didn't go say hi to Uncle Kevin, he came upstairs.
"Why you holed up in your room?" he asked. I didn't say anything and just kept tossing my basketball up in the air.
"You know, Tyler, one of my favorite ways to get rid of the blues is to play 'em," he told me.
We went out to the front porch and started strumming away. Uncle Kevin was right. Playing the guitar did help me feel better.
But it still didn't solve my problem with Jake.
After a while, Uncle Kevin asked, "Did you have a tough day at school?" "More like a tough month," I grumbled. "My friend Jake's been getting on my nerves a lot lately."
I know he's better than me at a bunch of stuff, but he doesn't have to rub it in my face all the time. I feel like such a loser when I'm around him.
Uncle Kevin nodded as he strummed some more chords. "Is Jake like this around your other friends, too?"
I thought about it for a minute.
I remembered hearing Carlos tell Oscar at baseball practice that he was sick of Jake's bragging.
"He thinks he's better than us," said Carlos. "Yeah, what a show-off," agreed Oscar. So, it wasn't only me that Jake treated this way. The other guys were getting fed up with him too. Maybe it wasn't my fault after all. Maybe it had more to do with him than with me. I shared this with Uncle Kevin, and he told me that people like Jake are a lot like the pufferfish we saw at the aquarium last summer.
They puff up their bodies to make themselves bigger than they actually are. It's a way of protecting themselves from potential enemies, he explained.
But when a kid acts like a pufferfish, he takes up so much space that he can also push away friends.
Uncle Kevin suddenly stood up and shouted, "Make way for Pufferfish Man!" as he chased me around the porch. Mom almost had a heart attack when she came face to face with Pufferfish Man.
After Uncle Kevin left, I biked to the schoolyard.
When I got there, Jake and Nico, this new kid on my street, were on the field throwing a frisbee. "Hey," I said, nodding in their direction.
"Can I play too?" "Sure," they both said. When it was my turn to throw the frisbee, I flicked my wrist and put a sweet spin on the disc, flinging it directly to Nico.
"Nice," said Nico. "Thanks," I replied. And then Jake did what he does best. He puffed up.
"That's nothing," he said. "Look what I can do."
When it was Nico's turn, he did this amazing throw. Our eyes nearly popped out of our heads.
"Wow, that was awesome," I told Nico. "Thanks. I could teach you how to do it." "Really?" "Sure. Only if you show me how you did your throw." "You bet."
Then Nico turned to Jake. "I can show you too if you'd like." "Yeah, well, I know all the cool frisbee throws I need to know," said Jake as he started walking off the field.
I ran up to him and said, "Come on, Jake, don't go. So what if Nico throws better than us? He's cool. Let's just toss the frisbee around. It'll be fun."
Nah, I'm out of here. You coming? I looked at Jake and then at Nico.
No thanks. I'm going to stay here with Nico.
Whatever, muttered Jake as he turned and headed home by himself.
Nico and I took turns teaching each other different throws and ended up talking about all kinds of stuff.
I found out that Nico just got a guitar for his birthday, so I offered to teach him to play. He thought that was a great idea.
You know what? I have a feeling that Nico and I are going to be really good friends.
The end.
Well, that was an interesting story, wasn't it? Huh. Have you ever been around a kid like Jake who just let you know that they were better than you and could do anything better than you in every possible way, and that everything they owned was cooler or more expensive or just nicer than anything you had? How did that make you feel? I think all of us have been around people like Jake. Huh. And what did you think of what Uncle Kevin shared with Tyler about why he thought Jake maybe was acting that way? Remember, what did he compare Jake to? A pufferfish, right? A pufferfish trying to protect himself. And we never learned in the story what was going on in Jake's life that maybe made him feel like he had to be that kind of bully or boaster, right? And Tyler, did you notice that at the end of the book, Tyler wasn't able to stop Jake from saying boastful things or hurtful things, right? But what was Tyler able to do? I think he was able to not take those harmful, hurtful things so personally, right? He kept trying to remember, Jake's acting like a what? A pufferfish, right? And just kind of let things go. Now, what about Tyler and his new friend, Nico? Are they going to become good friends? Why do you think they might be? And in the end, here's a really tough question for you. Do you think God loves Jake as much as he loves Tyler or Nico or Uncle Kevin or you and me? What do you think? Jake doesn't seem very lovable, does he? But here's a secret. God loves Jake too, even though he's not acting like his best self. Because why? God loves each and every one of us, even when we're not perfect, even when we're being not so great. But I think God is hoping that Jake figures out, why does he act like a pufferfish, right? What's going on? So, what are we going to read next week? I don't know yet. I haven't picked the book. But there will be a cool new book next week. So tune in and let's see what we're going to read about, okay? Bye-bye.
See you next week.